Do I have any advice or tips and tricks as to where to buy things for RC? That's a question that I get asked on a relatively regular basis. And I think to myself, have I? I don't know. While I think of any advice that I might have, there is one thing that I will say. I think it's very clear and obvious the way that we all shop, you know, in the last few years, or at least in the last 10 years, it's changed a lot. So we don't really go down to like shops anymore and buy what we want to buy in a shop. If you want something now, you can just go on the internet and order it, which is good in a way, but in other ways it's bad, because it means we can't see what we're buying before we buy it. If you go into a shop, you can see what you're going to buy, you can determine whether the quality is good enough for the price being asked. On the internet, it's difficult to do that. You get pictures, but they're not very good, or they can be deceiving. There's a lot of crooks out there, and a lot of people that all they want to do is earn money. So, what I'll say to you is, shop around. When you're on the internet, don't just go to one place. If you want a certain part for your car, I don't know, let's just say you want some Allen drivers or a screwdriver, something, whatever you want, a diff, some wheels, an engine. Don't just search something and then go on the internet and then find the first place and then be like, they've got what I want, brilliant, let's get it. Now the reason for that is, one, you don't know if the place is selling good quality stuff yet. You don't know unless you bought there before. Also, nowadays, most shops, so let's say you go to an RC shop website, they will charge postage for small things. Normally, sometimes it's up to £50 you get £50 you get free postage. Some places are £100 you get free postage and over, you know what I mean? For example, if you just wanted to simply buy a spur gear, right? Let's just say you wanted to buy a spur gear. They're normally about £5-6, something around there, different prices, different cars, whatever, but we'll say £5 or £6. You want to buy a spur gear, you go to a shop, they're going to charge postage. Put about £4, £4.50. I know pretty much all of the RC shops, active scale models aren't, not all of them, I didn't mean that, I'd say that in the wrong, I don't know them all. What I'm trying to say is, I know that pretty much all of the RC shops that I use or have used charge postage. Hertz RC, active scale models, Answer RC, Model Sport, Hobby, Wheelspin models, Model Tune, all of them ones, they all charge postage on every single item. Now, if you just want to buy spur gear, which is say about £4 or £5, and then you're paying £4.50 postage, there's a problem there, because the postage is nearly more expensive, was nearly the same price as the thing you're buying. Now, this is where eBay comes in. eBay is a dangerous place, because, well, you've got Amazon as well, but Amazon not so much. I mean, Amazon's Amazon, isn't it? I mean, what can you say about Amazon? Most of the stuff for RC that's on Amazon, there is quite a lot of good stuff. It's sold by genuine shops that have got Amazon accounts and they want to sell stuff on there. But also there is, excuse me, there is also, that's them now attacking me. No, I'm joking. There's also loads and loads of unscrupulous Chinese people, Chinese sellers on there, which just sell rubbish, basically. So be very, very careful. But eBay is a bit better, because normally you can get free postage on things. So for example, I'm looking for a spur gear at the moment, that's why I thought of it. On the shops, they did want £4 odd postage, right? I ain't paying that for a little spur gear. Don't mind paying postage on something a bit bigger, like a whole car or a transmitter kit or something like that. But I don't want to pay £4 on postage for a little spur gear that's costing me £4 or £5 anyway. So eBay, you find what you want, but you have to make sure. Don't just find the first spur gear that you want and then think, I'll have that because it's free postage. Because it might be a crappy 3D printed one. It might be a Chinese one coming all the way from China. You know, it might be, it just might be no good. So you do have to shop around on eBay. But a lot of the time you can get free postage on small items. So you're only paying, as long as the price is the same, it's no good, because what they can do is, and I'm explaining this to you, Line, you probably already know, but if a shop, yeah, is selling an item, a spur gear, for £5, and their postage is £4.50, right? Then you go to eBay, so 5, 6, 7, 8, £9.50, I think, if my maths is correct. Yes, it is. So if you go on eBay and you find the same spur gear for £9.50, free postage, you're still paying the bloody same price. So you've got to be careful that you find it on eBay for a £5, free postage. And it is possible. It is possible. That is one of the things I will say. You know, shop around. Do use eBay, but with caution. Make sure you don't buy the crappy parts. Make sure you're buying what you want to buy. Some of you may want to waste your money and time on crappy parts, in which case go and do it. Go and buy Chinese stuff. But other times, don't do it. Be careful. I'd always say support the local shops, or not necessarily local, but the RC shops. I mean, you've got Model Sport and Hobby and Wheelspin Models. They're massive anyway. You know, they can survive without your support. Or obviously they need everybody's support, really, because otherwise they wouldn't better be there, because they need to sell stuff. But what I'm trying to say is, what I do, always go to the smaller shops first. Yeah, go to the smaller shops first. If they haven't got what you want and they can't get what you want, then you can go to the bigger ones. The big fish, they can survive. The small fish, you know, they need, without you, they won't be there. They'll go out of business. So always go to the smaller shops first. That would be my advice on that. Lovely. Time for a drink. Not the same as it used to be. So, for example, yeah, this motor, this FTX 550 max speed 15 turn electric motor for the FTX Bugster. Now, an example, a very good example that I found when I was looking for this. Now, this actual proper model shops sell these motors for £9.99p. Some of them are being a bit competitive, selling them for £9.50, £9.80, etc. But then the postage was a £5 on most of them. I think one shop had postage at £3.50, but still, that's money, right? So I went on eBay and I found some unscrupulous person selling these motors for £19.99. I think they were £19.99. I mean, who the hell's going to pay 20 quid for this? I don't know, but obviously people do, otherwise they wouldn't be selling it for that price. So I got rid of that one. Then I found it on eBay for £9.99 on eBay, but that had postage of a £5. No good. Then a bit further down, excuse me, on eBay, £9.99, free postage, Royal Mail, job done, got what I wanted. So it just goes to show that if you shop around, you will find slightly better deals a lot of the time. If you shop around and you don't find better deals, just go for the shop that you prefer to get it from. You won't always find the perfect deal. But what I'm trying to say is, just spend your money wisely. That's what I'm trying to say, I think, when it comes to RC parts, because the market's so saturated now. There's so many just knockoffs, you know, copy pattern parts that aren't as good as other ones. There's so many shops selling things at stupidly high prices. I mean, £19.99 for one of them is ridiculous. I mean, whoever decides to do that is, you know, not good. You stick in the comments where What do you normally do for parts? Do you normally go to one shop and one shop only, and do you buy online regardless of postage? I mean, it depends what kind of frame of mind I'm in at the time, but sometimes I do go to, if I want something, I'll go to, for example, Active Scale Models. I know they're going to charge me postage, but I'll go there, I find what I want, they've got what I want, the exact thing that I want, the same brand, everything that I want, it's there, the price of the actual item is a reasonable price. I'll just swallow the postage because I want to buy from that shop, because they're a small shop local to me. Other times, if I'm in a different frame of mind, I'll go to that shop and they might have what I want, the price is reasonable, but I don't fancy paying the postage on it for that little thing. So then I'll shop around. It depends what frame of mind I'm in, to be honest with you. But put in the comments, what do you normally do? Do you have one shop and one shop only, regardless of postage? Do you only go exclusively to the shop? You won't go online? Do you shop online and you just go anywhere that has what you want? Or do you use eBay exclusively? And a lot of people that use eBay exclusively. Everything is eBay, eBay, eBay. Put in the comments, what do you do? Another piece of, well, it kind of touches on the same bit that I've already just said about, but another piece of small advice that I think personally is quite important, and I've already touched on it slightly, is you've got to think to yourself, what are you bothered about the quality of the parts? If you buy bad quality, you're going to be buying twice, more than likely. I mean, you get these 3D printed spur gears, spur gears. They're not any good. They're just not any good. So you're better off just buying a proper genuine part, a genuine spur gear from whatever brand it is you want to buy from or need, and get that. So my advice to you is, if you're not bothered about quality and you just want to give something a go, you want it to work for a little bit, go and get yourself the cheapest part, a Chinese part, a 3D printed part, whatever it is, But if you want it to last a bit longer and you want to be a bit more sort of spend your money a bit wisely, you might have to spend a little bit more money, but the quality. What I always say is, and it's not just with RC stuff, it's with everything in general. See, I don't mind paying a bit extra if the quality reflects that price. You get a lot of people out there trying to sell substandard quality stuff, both for the RC world and for other worlds, other things. But they want the higher prices. So they've got bad quality down there, but they want the higher price. No good. Don't get sucked into that when it comes to buying RC parts. Or RC cars for that matter. I mean, bloody Jesus, look at some of the Chinese RC cars now. They used to be about 120 quid, now they're over 200 quid. I know it's because of all the recession and all that kind of stuff, but they're just not worth that much money. That's the simple fact of the matter. They're not worth that. If they was worth 200 odd quid, yes, perfect, no problem at all. So that's what I always say. If I'm looking to buy a spur gear, we'll use spur gears as examples because it's just easy. And I see this cheaper, crapper quality, 3D printed maybe, whatever, spur gear here. It's a £5. And then I see over here a much better quality, whether it might be a genuine part or whether it might be just some pattern part, but it's a good quality pattern part. And they want a tenner for it. I'm going to think to myself, right, so I've got a crap part here, which is bad quality. It will work for a while, but it won't last very long. It's not very good quality. For £5 less than this one over here, which is better quality, will probably last longer, but it's £5 more than the cheaper one. I will, especially if it's made in England or Britain, I will lean towards the more expensive one. I don't mind paying a bit more money for quality. That's my point. That is my point. You need to think. And I think that really that reflects in everything. In life. Not just you get these people that buy exclusively Chinese crap, which is from the darker side of the place and is no good. Not everything that comes out of China is no good. You can buy good quality stuff from China, but you need to think to yourself, what side they buy all the rubbish, and then they just keep having to buy more stuff because it just breaks. So you need to think, do you want to pay more for quality or less for bad quality and have to buy more of them? Another thing to think about when you're trying to buy RC parts or RC stuff in general. You lot might be thinking to yourself, why are you telling us all of this? Because this is all obvious stuff. Well, it's obviously not obvious stuff, because every day I get messages from people saying, I've bought this part, but it keeps breaking. Why? When you look into it, they just buy the cheapest parts they can find on eBay that are non-branded, and of course they keep breaking. If they go and buy original parts or better quality parts and pay a bit more money, they don't break. So it's obviously not obvious. I suppose, really, at the end of the day, it all kind of boils down to how far you want to take your hobby, how serious you are with the hobby, and how much money you've got to spend. Any hobby is the same. Just take, for example, CB and ham radio. Another hobby of mine. I am a licensed amateur. Also do a bit of CB radio, right? You can spend 50 quid on a radio, either ham or CB, second-hand one. You can buy new ones for cheap. And, get your little aerial, spend a couple £100 or less, and you can talk around the world to many, many people and have a lot of fun. Yeah? On the other side of the spectrum, people that have got a bit more disposable income can spend £15,000 on one radio. Yeah? And they can spend thousands on antennas. You can spend 60, 70, £100,000, probably, maybe even more, on antenna systems, masts, towers, the land in order to put the masts and towers on. And you will get slightly better performance, but you're still going to be having the same amount of fun as the people that spend 50, 60, £100 on the radio and the antenna. You can still talk around the world. All depends on what you want to do and how much money you've got. My point is the same with RC. You can buy either second-hand, cheap RC cars, or you can buy brand new, cheap Chinese RC cars, and you can have fun. Whether you're having fun or not is the key factor. Or if you're a bit richer and you've got more disposable income, you can just go and buy £1,000, £2,000, £3,000, £4,000 RC cars, yeah? Or you can buy loads of them. You can buy the £600, £700 racing buggies or whatever you want to buy. And you can buy the most expensive parts. You can buy the most expensive engines. You're going to be having a lot of fun. But I reckon I can pretty much damn well guarantee the people that have got the cheaper ones, with they haven't got as much disposable income to buy all these expensive parts and bits and bobs and all the expensive shops. They still have the same amount of fun as the richer people with all the expensive equipment. All depends how far you want to take the hobby and how much money you got to spend. That's the thing, I reckon. When people always say to me, have you got any advice on buying? Should I buy expensive stuff? Should I buy cheap stuff? Depends how much money you've got to spend and what you want to do. If you've got a lot of money, spend it. Buy expensive stuff. Or in my advice, don't. Save your money and use it more wisely. Yes. Tricky, really. Right, now you lot. It is a tricky question, but I think I went a little bit off topic, but I do think it's important, I must point out that you don't have to spend a lot of money, but also you need to spend. It's not all about spending, it's about looking for quality parts, I think, when it comes to, where should you go and all that. I always say, support local shops or small businesses, but you don't have to pay the postage, man. I do wish that it was possible for some of the actual model shops to offer free postage on small items like spur gears, so that you spend the £5 and you get the free postage. But obviously it costs them for postage, so they wouldn't be making much profit. But you have got the ones that just want to make money on everything. It's a tricky subject. Anyway, put in the comments what you do, your shopping habits. Where do you shop? How do you shop? What parts do you buy? Do you mind buying expensive parts for better quality, or are you all about just buying cheap, cheerful crap parts and buy loads of them when they keep breaking, even though you end up spending more money in the long run because you have to keep buying more parts? Let me know. See you in a bit.